I think we have that love-hate relationship with our future, right? Sometimes we have anxiety about it, we feel uncertainty, we worry a lot about the future, right? And sometimes we can't wait to live in the future, right? We're excited about it, right? And so I want to give people a little bit more control over their relationship with their future. And by changing the question about the future, as you just shared, instead of asking what will the future bring, because that's out of our control, right? It's something that is objective, that's out there and so forth. Changing it towards what future do I want to create? You're already changing your relationship, and probably towards a better relationship where you see opportunities, where you see hope, where you see a better future unfolding. And so for me, the key insight is really the future isn't shaped by what we have in our minds. It's shaped by how we use our minds. And the habits of mind framework, is fascinating to me because it's exactly that. It's how we use our minds, right? And so we move away from a fixed way of thinking to an adaptable way, an evolving way of engaging with what's next and moving towards creating what's next, which I think is also very, very helpful when thinking about the future, right? What is in our control and what is not in our control? What can we influence and what can we not influence? And so at its core for me, what's next is really about cultivating this future ready mind state, a way of thinking and being that really enables us to actively shape what's next rather than passively waiting for it to unfold, right? And how often do we just sit there and wait and, the future just happens to us, right? Which is unfortunate because we have a lot of control over what's going to happen next. And I think the habits of mind framework really aligns beautiful with this because it provides also actionable ways to develop that mental agility that we all need to navigate that uncertainty. And one thing that stands out probably is that I don't use the word mindset. I use mind state. And here is why. I think a mindset for me implies something fixed, something we have. And it is like a static trait, right? It's based on our past experiences, on our value system, and so forth. So really things that are hard to change. But a mind state is a dynamic way of looking at that. It's something we practice and cultivate based on how we engage with the world. And to quote Anais Nin, she once said, we don't see the world as it is, we see the world as we are, right? And I think this captures the essence of mind state. The way we perceive the world and ultimately shape the future is really determined by how we choose to think and respond and experiment. And so each of your habits, from like thinking flexibility to listening with empathy, really reinforces the idea that the future isn't predetermined. It's something we create through the way we think, respond, and listen.
It's so interesting that you're saying all of that. I mean, certainly it was very much a part of the way we were thinking when we developed these, based on a lot of research and a lot of thinking about I think the third question that you ask is, then who would you like to be? Who are you becoming? And I think that that's the part I would add into this conversation, just to say that given my age, which is older than both of you, I would say that who you would like to be is also about the legacy that you leave for others. So it isn't just about creating the future. It's also about who do you want to be for your ancestors who will live with the future. So I think that that's another important message that I kept taking away from what you were saying, which is that positive understanding of who we become as we become the creators of our future.